everybody, welcome back to Bonus Points. We're playing Tony Hawk's American Wasteland again. Oh yeah, we can ride the bike in this game. I keep forgetting about the bike. I'm not even really sure I'll ride it in the game. Actually, I think you have to ride it if you want to complete. There's a few challenges, I think, where you have to ride the bike just to get through parts of the game. But right now, our goal is we're trying to make it into the skate ranch. We've got some tasks we need to go complete, and I'm just going to think around here for a little bit, skate around. So yeah, in that last video, there was a couple things I need to kind of clarify here. I get super tongue-tied when I start talking about just stuff from my teenage and childhood years. Yeah, here's Murphy. He won't let me up there because I'm not part of the crew. Put that in quotations there. You know, a lot of these guys, when I was growing up, they all had just different parts in videos that just were memorable. A lot of the videos I remember, well, a few of them I remember, like, for instance, so I want to say this is like Daewon Song's first game as far as the Tony Hawk series goes that he's in. Oh yeah, there's parts of this game that where you can do like backflips, barrel rolls, and front flips and shit like that. Never actually seen it done on a skateboard, so I'm not even really. I mean, I'm sure it's possible. I'm sure if you've seen Big Air in the X Games, I'm sure it's probably maybe been done. Anywho, so but there's parts in these videos that everyone remembers, or there's videos that everyone has that there's their favorites that just have that have, like, as far as being put together in the best way possible to show off all the best riders just hitting some really awesome spots. Like I wish I could remember which zero video it was. I want to say it might have been Zero or Die, maybe, where Jamie Thomas always off the leap of faith. I'll look that up and see if I can find it. I want to say it's probably the Zero or Die video. There's also Rodney versus Daewon, which, like I said, that's what I was trying to think of when I was thinking of Daewon Song. But there's Rodney Mullen and Daewon Song, and those two are just like the best flat ground technicians. If you've ever watched flat ground skating, if you've ever seen Rodney Mullen in his early years, I mean, he was just doing some of the craziest, like, some of the shit that he was doing was just insane. A lot of the, like, manual type tricks and stuff. I mean, Rodney Mullen, the best way I've seen it described, if you've ever watched the autobiography on the Bones Brigade, which is another awesome video as far as, like, documentaries go, and if you've ever watched the Bones Brigade autobiography, Stacy Peralta, if I remember right, there's a scene in there where Stacy Peralta says that everyone was riding on the top of the board, whereas Rodney Mullen found out how to ride all sides of it. He could ride the top part that you stand on. He could ride the bottom of it. He could ride the sides of it. He figured out ways to just ride skateboards that nobody had even thought of yet, and he took skateboarding another step forward as far as just the ability to just do anything. But yeah, Rodney versus Daewon. I want to say there's probably one or two videos that are Rodney versus Daewon. I'll have to look that up too, because golly, those videos came out, man, when I was like in high school. Some of the videos I saw that are awesome as far as like when I was in high school. Black Label's Blackout is amazing. That was, again, like when I started getting into Black Label skateboards, that was the video. I mean, there was Ragdoll, back when, I don't know, Ragdoll kind of I don't want to say nothing bad about Ragdoll. Ragdoll kind of went off the deep end, in my opinion. If you guys know who that is, look him up. He kind of, I don't know, in the Blackout video, he was I want to say some of the stuff I was reading, and again, I don't know if this is true. Some of the stuff I was reading was saying like Blackout, Ragdoll was homeless, living in Las Vegas, and he was skating, and then Black Label found him, put him on this team, and he then man, it was like a few years later he ended up on pig boards, and that's another good video if you've never seen Pig Slaughterhouse. If you're into skateboarding and you want to watch some decent videos, I like Blackout Pig Slaughterhouse. Mike V's Greatest Hits is another one. It's not, I mean, there's skateboarding in it, but it's mostly about Mike V just fighting people, which everyone has seen. If you've never seen the CKY fight, where Mike V beats up like 3 or 4 people at once. Another good video to check it out. You could probably actually find the scene on YouTube because it's super, super famous. Mike V hates talking about it, but oh yeah, you can get on a bus. You can also get into vehicles and drive to where you want to go rather than just skating there. But yeah, Mike V hates that scene because he said I'll never. He didn't really hate the Jackass guys. He just didn't like what they were doing because they were just, they were doing all the stupid stunts, and they were just. He said, I'll never be a part of that. And then he ends up being. He said in that video, he goes, I'm the star of CKY3. These guys evidently they called Mike V, and I want to say it might have been the Element guys, or it might have just been a tour that somebody put together where it was like Mike V and Bam Margera. But yeah, the flips in this game, you got to catch enough speed to be able to pull them off, and sometimes you get greedy and you're like, yeah, I think I could do it too, just to make the challenge go faster. Sometimes, come on. Sometimes my joystick just feels like it's not working. Yeah, there we go. For real, I did 2 flips and I only get 1 flip counted. That's ridiculous. I think a double flip should count as 2. Just saying. But anyways, they just got done skating like a demo, I want to say, and for God's sake. And then sometimes it feels like my joystick works too well. We'll restart this. Let's try it again. For crying out loud. But those guys got done skating a demo, and they were outside like a 7-Eleven, I want to say, and they were all walking inside, and then they got some water and some other shit, just whatever. Walking out, some guy says to them, you skaters think you're badass drinking your water and milk. Now, granted, the guy actually said something else that I'm not going to repeat. As far as what was said, there was something that was said that's a slur towards homosexuals. I'm not going to repeat it just because I don't feel I'm not doing that. But anyways, somebody said that. Come on. Somebody said that to Mike, and he's like, I'm sorry, what'd you say? And the guy said it to him again, so they said, the guy's like, oh yeah, we'll kick your ass. And Mike goes, really? Because I could take 4 of you on myself. And he did. It's like, I can describe the fight, and I might throw a link to it in this video. He throws one punch. It's insane because it's all one move. It's just crazy. He throws a punch, rips his shirt off, and then proceeds to beat up the other 4 guys. Now, granted, he didn't beat them all up, but they didn't want any. After he hit a couple of them in the face, they were like, "No, we're done. We don't want any." And the funniest thing is, here a few years ago, so Mike's got his own company now called Street Plant, and I actually met him in Houston here a couple of years ago. Super nice guy. Again, it just goes to show why he was one of my favorite skaters, because he wasn't one of those guys that was just felt like he was above people. Oh yeah, you can hit people in this game? Oh wait, no, you can't. You can run into them though. This is funny because she looks like a babushka lady, some old Russian lady that that's the funniest thing to do, is to let that. Holy shit, was I in the wall? But yeah, he was such a nice guy, and he wasn't one of the guys that felt like, oh well, because I'm a pro, I'm above you. Like, no, he's such a he's just such a nice guy. And anyways, he's got his own brand of boards now called Street Plant, which I'm like the next. If I can get back into it enough to where I'll break a board, I'll probably try one of their boards. I'm one of those where it's like I'll ride a board till I break it. Anywho, there was an article, I typed it in, like, I want to say it was like Mike V's most recent fight or something. And it comes back and it says Mike V officially retired, or Mike V officially states he's retired from skateboard fighting. Because if you've seen Mike V's Greatest Hits, the funniest thing about it is there's so many people that he, 90, minus the college kids in CKY3, I would say 90% of those fights that are in that video were all security guards. He beats up so many security guards for telling him, like, where he can and can't skate. There's another video I found online. I don't even think it's on that video. It's not even on that video, I don't think. But there's some guy there. It was him and Ben Margera skating in a parking lot, and the guy tells him to leave, and they're like, "We're not leaving because we're not doing anything." And the guy tells me, he's like, "You're out here, you're fucking around," and he's like, he says something to him. Oh yeah, we learned how to kind of do like parkour type stuff in this game, where you can like run up walls. You can use this to combo with. You can like run up walls and then flip onto your board and do like manuals and other stuff. It's pretty neat. Like I like this concept of the game because you can just link stuff together. But I guess there was something about how they messed up a bush or something. The guy got super pissed off at him, and the guy says, "Dude," he yells at Mike V about something. He goes, "Dude," he's like, "Weren't you out here?" He's like, "You guys are out here flopping around." He's like, you messed up a bush or something." And Mike's like, "Dude, that wasn't us." And the guy's like, "Yeah, it was. It had to have been you." He's like, "You guys are the only ones that skate over here." And I'm like, I have a feeling that's wrong, because for as many places there were to skate, minus like that weren't parks, there were probably so many kids that hit up the same spots. And I can tell you right now that there was a spot in my hometown. It was called the Plaza. If you were skating on the Plaza, you better be damn good and you better be able to run, because if the cops showed up, you needed to bail fast, because they were going to get your name, and then 90% of the time they were going to call your parents and tell them that you were out, skating the Plaza. You shouldn't have been, because it's public property, this, that, and the other, Anyways, the guy like puts his hands on Bam, and the next thing you know, Mike V's got the dude pinned up against his truck with his hand on his throat, going, he's like, "You need to quit." And the guy gets super pissed because he knows. You just see in his face, like, he knows if I was to fuck with this dude, he's gonna beat me senseless. And the guy walks away, and then he tells Mike and Bam, he's like, "You can take your skateboards and shove them up your asses." And he's like, "Okay." It's a funny video. I'll see if I can find those and link to them if you guys want to check them out. They're funny videos. Can we? Oh no, wait. I don't think we can go this way yet. We can only stay in so many parts of this game until we can. Yep. Until we can move on. This game has got me wanting to play like Underground 2. I remember I want to say Underground 2 was where some of the stuff starts coming into play that made its way over to this game. Why do I keep trying to go down this way? I want to go down this way because I can't remember what's over here, but I want to. Air off some ground. Okay, this trick right here has been done by me millions upon millions of times, because this is like my favorite trick, and I love throwing the 180 spin on it. The 180 spin is just, to me, is a lot of fun. Again, Mike V, I've seen him throw the 540 spin on it, and it's insane. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I wish I could do it. I wish I could throw that many spins on there. I'm just not that good. Should we buy some clothes? Let's buy some clothes. Let's change up my look here.
Hey there. What can I do for you this fine morning?
I like I tried to pick companies that if I was going to be a skateboarder that I wouldn't mind wearing their stuff. Like, so, you know, my setup most of the time was like independent trucks, no matter what. And usually I skated like Black Panther bearings. I like the best. Now over the years I've changed. I've switched over to Bones Swiss bearings, which I really love. Those bearings are lights out. To me, the best. I like them better over Black Panther now, which is sad, but it's true. Man, I want to say the first board I ever had, as far as like a good board, the Pop War, I want to say that I had some like Pop War lime green bearings at one point. I wish I could find some of that stuff. I was trying to find some pictures to throw in the last video. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything as far as the Pop War board goes that I had. I couldn't find anything as far as the Globe shoes I had. I feel like there's a way. I'll throw a trucker hat on because that's usually what I wear, is a mesh hat. I can't wear any other hats. Is it me, or is this hat like cocked sideways? It looks like it's cocked sideways. I never wore my hat cocked sideways ever in my life. I could have swore there's a way I could have hair. Like, what is this? Oh yeah, some of the bands that are in here are featured as far as like you can put their t-shirt on, or you can put their logo on your shirt. That's kind of cool. Anyways, yeah, Globe shoes, which is, those guys are still around. I actually just got a new pair of Globes so I can start skating again. Unfortunately, I had a mishap last year. I won't wear Van shoes anymore because Vans are good if you've skated in them forever. My whole thing is, though, I've skated the same type of shoes ever since high school, and they were those big, like the big bulky shoes that came out in like the mid-90s. That ended up kind of just carrying over. But Van shoes, they're kind of thin. They're like they're kind of like a Converse shoe, in my opinion. They're a little bulkier than a Converse shoe. Now, granted, I still have my Vans and I'll wear them, but I won't skate in them. Reason is, so last year I was skating at a place around Kansas City where I live, and there was the park that I was at was in a fairly decent part of town, and unfortunately the concrete was kind of janky, and it didn't slide very well. And I tried this power slide on this hip, and next thing I know, like, my foot came off the board, and I just, like, because the shoes I had weren't very high up on my ankle, they were kind of low cut. I rolled my ankle so bad. I was out. I couldn't tell if I broke it or if I sprained it really bad. So I was reading that sometimes a sprain's worse than a break. And I mean, I missed work for like a day. It sucked. My ankle was swole up so bad, and I was like, God dang it! Like that's what I said. I was like, I'm never gonna skate Vans again. Nothing against Vans. I'm sure there's other people out there who have never had issues with them. It's just my ankles are so. Where do we need to go? We got to go somewhere. I'm just trying to think. Oh, I got to impress the guys now. And I've also got to complete all these sponsored challenges. But yeah, like I said, it's nothing against Vans. It's just my own personal preference. I cannot skate shoes that thin. That's the new style now. It's weird how much skateboarding has like evolved now into just something different. From what I remember it being, like the styles, the shoes, the clothes, everything has changed. You know, when I was in when I, shorts have now, like, gym shorts, I feel like have now become, like, a staple. I know that sounds weird. I never wore gym shorts. I wore, like, jean shorts. I wore jorts. They were cut-offs all the time. Or I wore baggy-ass jeans. That was kind of a thing. Like, loose clothes. Now it's, like, it's changed where, I don't know. It's so weird to see some of the styles now. It's just changed. Whereas, like, it was kind of all the same. It's now no longer the same. It's just crazy. But yeah, the shoes have gotten a lot, like, sleeker, cleaner, and, like, more of a minimalist look. Whereas, like I said, when I was skating, you had these big, bulky ass shoes. But to me, like, protected your ankle a little better. Plus, you could fit. Like, for me, once I rolled both my ankles a couple of times, by the time I'd get back on the board after I had recouped my ankles, I would always have to be wearing a brace, and the braces fit in those shoes way easier than they do in a Vans shoe. And they don't cut off the circulation. Like, if you wore a Vans shoe and then if you wore the Vans shoe and then you wore the Vans shoe and then you wore the ankle brace, like, it cut off circulation to the, like, not your toes and not your heels, but it was like the top of your foot. The top of your foot would just start to feel numb. It was weird. But some of the companies that are in this game are now defunct. As far as, like, so the board I was telling you about, the Pop War, they're not in this game, but they're defunct. They're no longer around. We're gonna save our game here. Audio shoes, which I had 3 pairs of audios, and there was only one. There was 2 I wore for skating, and ones that I never wore for skating. I just wore them to school, and that's because they were. I had 2 pairs of Margera audios. One of them were the Eugenes, which had the heartogram on the side of them. When TKY and him and Jackass and all that shit got big, I had the heartogram shoes. And then I had the Dark Lights, which I skated those, and I skated the shit out of them until I tore them up. And then that was the best shoes I ever skated. And oh yeah, this guy is just telling about how Boone just jacks everything up whenever he falls and beefs it. And then I had the Audio Kenny Andersons, which those were the pinnacle best shoes I ever skated. Again, I've got so many things that was the best thing I ever skated, because it was, like, I know it's weird to say, like, that was the best thing I ever skated, but it was. I mean, at that time, you had all these people that were like, everybody had their own opinion on what was the best, but really at the end of the day, it's more of a what worked for you the best. I mean, there were so many kids that had so many different boards. Like, I skated Black Label, which I loved Black Label. I tried skating a Habitat one time because a buddy of mine from back home, one of the guys I used to skate with, he was just Habitat for life, loved Habitat. And I got one of their boards it was kind of like my Pop board. It had a layer of fiberglass in the middle of it that was supposed to add some strength to it. And I think I cracked that thing in a day or two. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, it was one of the, I know, here today, gone tomorrow kind of thing, where it's like not every board's going to last forever, but shit, I should have got more ride time out of it than that. So I was pretty bummed about that. For the most part, I still ride the same kind of board. I think I usually ride like an 8.5 to an 8 1/4, or 8 1/4 to 8 1/2, like a Black Label board. But like I said, there's all these different boards I want to try now, because they're all changing up their construction and the way they do things. Like, there's a Santa Cruz board, a real board, and then Street Plants boards. Those are all ones I want to try just to see, like, let's let's talk about deck construction, and let's talk about, what makes your board super sturdy. I mean, as far as, what you've done differently to up your game. I always thought this challenge was kind of cool. So you take Iggy's Pitbull and you go around and you got to smash these signs to get wood for the ramp, for the half pipe. That's what you're trying to do, is get wood for this half pipe. The cop's just hanging out down here. That's hilarious. Baker boards are still around, which is awesome. I'm trying to think of who else has kind of gone out of business. Nike and Adidas have kind of, how do I describe this? Nike and Adidas have they've thrown their hat into the skateboarding game. Now, granted, there's a lot of riders that are riding Nikes, and I'm sure Nike has great shoes. I never skated Nikes. Never skated the Adidas shoes. I know there's a lot of pros I've seen that skate the Adidas shoes. One of them being, I believe, Aaron Cairo skates the Adidas shoes. Nothing against those companies. I mean, they're doing what they should be doing, which is, you need to tap every market. They've had the market now on like basketball, football, every other sport you can think of except for skateboarding, which is where like all these companies that are still around, Globe and golly, who else? Lakai, I think, still makes shoes. DVS, DC's. These guys are still making. These guys are still making money off shoes, but then now you're going up against Adidas and Nike, who, everyone knows those names, as far as, and, I mean, you always want, I say you always want, it's not necessarily, but you always have the pro models of things, and everyone says, oh, well, it's the pro model, as far as shoes and boards go. Everybody wants to ride with their favorite skater rides. I get that. I mean, I had the Bam Margera audios, the Kenny Anderson audios. I had, I had a Patrick Rakestraw Black Label deck that board lasted me forever. I mean, that was the best thing I ever skated. Seriously. And, golly, there was another. There's another Black Label board I had in there. Again, they were the two best boards I ever had. That Pop War, I say that Pop War board was still pretty good. I liked it too. I really wish Pop War hadn't ever gone out of business, but again, that was about when stuff started to fall apart and there were companies that went out of business, and it sucks, to think about some of the companies that are no longer around. They're gone, and but some of those guys have gone on to work for other skate companies or what have you. So we went and got all that wood. Now we got this sweet half pipe. That's one of those things I've never done. It's scared the ever-loving crap out of me, unless the half pipe was like a 4-foot tall half pipe. I'll never, I tried skating a 6-foot half pipe. Or no, it was maybe it was an 8-foot half pipe. That's unless you're used to riding half pipes, I remember when I first started skating, one of the things that was super hard. Well, I say it's super hard to learn. Once you've done it enough times, that muscle memory is there. I could still do it now if I wanted to, but dropping in. When you learn how to drop in, you're going to eat it a few times unless you were super good at it. But, I mean, I had so many people that were like, you need to do this, and you got to lean forward a little bit, and you got to stomp the board. I got what they were saying, but I never did stomp the board. It was like I leaned in, and then eventually I got it. It was like you need to pound it, once you learn how to hammer it, dropping in just becomes like second nature. After that, I was just dropping in all the time, and then you get it, and it's like the greatest thing ever. It's like, holy crap, I finally learned something different, Anyway, so next time, guys, we're gonna save our game here. Next time we're gonna keep going along. We're gonna collect some pieces for this skate ranch, and we're gonna do some more challenges. We're working our way to the AM Jam. So, anyways, next time. Later.